Pew Research Center recently did a survey in India on how the Indian public feels about the state of the nation, how they view the government, how they view India's role in the world. And what we found was that people are increasingly positive about the direction of the country. They feel quite good about the state of the economy. And about 8 in 10 have a favorable view of Prime Minister Modi, which is comparable to his favorable rating now for a number of years. What we did find, however, is that even though Congress supporters also have a favorable view of the Prime Minister, as do BJP supporters, his party supporters, there's a growing partisan divide when you ask more specific questions about the Prime Minister's conduct, his handling of problems. Then you have the BJP supporters say he understands people like me, he's doing a good job handling various problems like crime, unemployment, whereas you have people who are identifying with the Congress Party are much more critical of him, and more critical than they were last year. So there is a growing divide on that. We also have asked people, for the first time in India, how they feel about India's role in the world. And what's interesting is that more than 2/3 of the public believe that India is more powerful today than it was a decade ago. And in fact, I think one could argue that's true, that India is playing a bigger role on the world stage, but it's also now recognized by the Indian public, and they feel very good about that. We did ask the Indians how they felt about the growing integration of the Indian economy into the global economy. A majority of Indians feel that's good for India. I can tell you that that's more than Americans who believe that. And we also ask people, do they believe that the use of overwhelming military force is the proper way to deal with terrorism, or would that only create more terrorists in the long run? And what we found was that overwhelmingly, more than 6 in 10 Indians said, no, we believe that the use of overwhelming military force is the way to deal with terrorism. So there's a strong support in the Indian public for being very tough on terrorism. So those were the general findings of our survey.